Calling all authors, the Your Book, Your Voice podcast, hosted by Robert A. Lane, is on the air, featuring everything you need to know about narrating your own audiobook. But it doesn't stop there. From special guests, including authors and professionals from the book industry, to sharing tools and techniques needed to be a confident and compelling narrator. The journey starts now. So please welcome your host, Robert A. Lane.
All right, welcome. Glad you are here, and I appreciate it. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I am Robert A. Lane. I am an audiobook coach and producer. I specialize in helping authors like yourself turn your awesome book into an audiobook that you narrate, because you need to tell your story in your own voice. Only you can tell your story the way it is meant to be heard. And that's what I do as an audiobook coach and producer, helping you through the entire process of creating and publishing an awesome audiobook. I've got a great topic for you today. What is the secret sauce for a great audiobook? What is that secret sauce? We're going to dive into that in just a second. One thing I do want to share with you, if you are watching the live stream, by the way, because we do the podcast live, and those of you who, and then of course we post it on the other distribution platforms for podcasts, and you may be hearing the replay, but that's okay. I'm going to give you all the good information anyway. The first thing that I want to share with you is that I do have an audiobook narration reference guide. All right, an audiobook narration reference guide, which is free for you to download. There's a graphic on the screen for those of you watching on YouTube and on LinkedIn. But those of you who are listening to the podcast Audible only, then grab this link, which is bit.ly, which is bit.ly/narration reference guide. It's a free audiobook narration reference guide I want to give to you. Just because you're awesome, right? You're an author and you're going to do your audiobook. So here's some good tools and tips and techniques for you to grab. Also, the link is in the description for all the podcasts, so you can grab it there as well. But just wanted to share that with you. Now, again, you are an entrepreneur. You're a published author, or maybe you're still working on your book. But I still consider you an entrepreneur because you've taken the time, whether you wrote your book at night and weekends, or if you're one of the lucky few who can actually write and publish a book and live off of your writings. That's awesome. That's great. But you are an entrepreneur, and your product is your ebook, your paperback, your hardcover, and of course, your audiobook. Yes, and that's why you need to have an audiobook as part of your arsenal of products, because again, the audiobook world still continues to grow and expand at an exponential rate, and you got to be part of it. Now, creating an audiobook is a process, and this is why I coach authors to do it, because it can be overwhelming. But let's just talk about what it takes to do a great audiobook. There's two basic factors. There's the practical side, of course, and that involves getting your audiobook set up, getting great equipment. All right, don't cheap out on equipment. All right, that's my big piece of advice. Get a great microphone, get a great set of headphones. Don't skimp out on that cheapy $100 or $150 Yeti mic that, may not sound so great. All right. Because you got to be able to adjust it and make it sound good. The equipment that I give to the VIP authors who go through my VIP program, I give them the equipment that they need, which is theirs to keep. And it's top of the line stuff, $500 worth of gear. It's part of the program because I don't believe in cutting corners. So make sure that you're using great equipment. That's part of the practical. And of course, setting up your recording space and setting up your account for publication into Audible, Amazon, Apple, and any other distribution platforms that you want to be on. There's also other things that you need to do for setup, and that's all practical. Mic placement, levels, all that stuff. That's one aspect. But what we're going to talk about today is the other aspect that really is the secret sauce to creating a great audiobook, and that is the intangibles. The intangibles. Now, what is an intangible? The intangibles are those things that you not necessarily can physically touch, but you can emotionally feel. The intangibles are those things that you emotionally feel. That is the secret sauce to creating a great audiobook. That is the secret sauce, because what you're focusing on are, let me give you a few of the intangibles. Your energy, right? The energy that you bring to the table when you narrate your audiobook is crucially important. The emotion that you bring into your audiobook is incredibly important, because the energy and emotion that you put into your audiobook narration is going to be felt by the listener. It will be felt by the listener. And that is a great thing, because what you are doing is you're establishing this awesome connection with that listener. That listener feels like you're telling your story directly to them, like they're sitting right across at your favorite coffee house, let's say, and you're telling your story, and that listener is on the other side of that table listening to every word, hanging on to every word that you're saying, because you're doing such a great and compelling narration. Because you're applying these intangibles, your energy and emotion. And of course, authenticity. Authenticity is key. You have to be your true, authentic self. Don't fake it till you make it. That doesn't work, all right? That is not going to work when it comes to creating a great audiobook. You can't fake it till you make it. You got to be your true, authentic self right out of the gate, because you want to capture your unique style and energy and who you are and what makes you you. That's your author brand. Everything that encompasses who you are is your author brand. Everything. So make sure that you are being your true, authentic self. All right? That is what makes a great audiobook. That is part of what the intangibles are. That is, again, solidifying your author brand. And you're going to also be sincere. Sincerity is another great aspect and part of the intangibles that create a great audiobook, because these intangibles, these feelings, these emotions, again, are what the listener will feel, and they'll tap into it. And the thing is you don't have to force it. You don't have to force your energy. You don't have to force emotion. Matter of fact, if you do that, that's when you start to sound fake. And that's when your audiobook is not going to sound good, right? That's why authenticity is so important. You don't want to, I am so angry. I am so happy. No, you're forcing the emotion. And when you force emotion, it comes out as fake. You got to be true and authentic. Think about it this way. Let's do an analogy. When you narrate your audiobook, it's just like watching your favorite singer or band. Okay, you're going to a concert, you're in a 10,000 seat arena, and that artist is singing your favorite song. It's like, oh, this is it. Oh, and it brings all these great emotions, right? Those intangibles, you're feeling them. It brings all these great emotions. And as you listen and watch that artist sing, you're just like, oh man, they are singing to me. They're singing that song to me. I feel it. And guess what? 9,999 of the other people that are in that arena, they're all feeling the same thing. So how does that artist do that? They tap into the intangible. And I guarantee you that 9 out of 10 times what that artist is doing, what that band is doing, that singer is thinking about that one specific person or that one event that really touches them emotionally. And that's who they're singing to. They have that one person in mind, or they have that one event in mind. That is what allows them to bring out their emotion, and that it comes out authentically. And that's why you feel it. And that's why it feels like they're singing that song directly to you. It's the same concept. I like giving that analogy because it's the same concept when you're doing your audiobook narration. You're bringing that energy and emotion in your authenticity. And when you have somebody specific in mind, for example, let's say your book is a memoir and you're talking about things that have gone on through your life. When you tap into your authenticity and you just let the emotions flow out without forcing it, the listener will feel it. They will be able to tap into it and feel it. And again, sincerity is great too. You got to be sincere. That's part of being authentic. I've said this analogy before. Matter of fact, I remember I just did a talk at a book club not too long ago, did a speaking engagement there, talking to them about the audiobook world. And he used this as an analogy as well when it came to sincerity, right? When you think about Garth Brooks, right? Garth Brooks, when he hit the country market, whether you're a country fan or not, it doesn't really matter. The point is, when he came out of the market, man, he just turned country music on its head. It's like, who is this guy? Sure, he was talented. He wrote great songs. He, was a great performer, did all those things. But you know what he sold? He sold sincerity. He sold an intangible, and people latched on to that. And that's why they loved him so much. All right, and again, that can apply to any artist, any musician, any creative. All right. So, but that's where the sincerity came in, and then he sold sincerity, and it worked. Consistency is another intangible, but that is something that you definitely need for a great audiobook. Because think about it. Let's say your book is 8 hours, maybe it's going to be 10 hours long, right? If you write a 300 plus page book, it'll probably be roughly 8 to 10 hours of actual audiobook time. And that's not very uncommon. That's fairly common. When that listener is listening to your audiobook, again, maybe it's somebody who's going on a road trip. My wife does that, right? She puts on an audiobook and listens when she has to travel. And sometimes she's driving for maybe 4 hours or 8 hour drive even. So you listen to that audiobook. So the listener, again, is listening to it from opening credits to closing credits. So consistency is crucial because you want to maintain that energy and you want to maintain that emotion throughout, right from opening credits to closing credits. You got to maintain that. You can't record a chapter and then with one level of energy, and then you go in and record the next chapter and the energy changes. It's like watching a movie, and when something happens, whether visually or audibly, that takes you out of the movie. I hate when that happens. But that is what will happen when the listener is listening to your audiobook and things are just like not consistent. They're changing. If you're reading your chapter and you're like, I've got this energy and I'm doing this and that and the other, even if the motion is, up and down, if you go through your emotions. Let's get this camera focused again. There we go. Then that's part of the flow of the story. But if you talk like this in the one chapter and then the next chapter kicks in and you're just kind of talking like this, there's a whole energy shift. And the listener's going to feel that, and that'll take them out of the story, and you don't want to do that. So consistency is very, very important. Very important. Okay? So these are some of the biggest factors when it comes to the intangibles. And the intangibles really are the secret sauce of creating a great audiobook. Instead of something being average or mediocre, or maybe it sounds monotone, or hopefully not reedy. You don't want it to sound reedy. But if the energy and emotion, authenticity and sincerity and consistency aren't there, it's just going to be average. So take your audiobook to the next level. You want to make it fan-frikkin-tastic. You want to make it great. You want people to be so engaged on the edge of their seats from opening credits to closing credits. So keep that in mind. Those intangibles are incredibly important. Now, if you're not familiar about what it takes to create an audiobook, it is a process. And to do it right is a process. It just is. So as an audiobook coach and producer, this is why I focus on helping authors go through the process to make it as easy and painless as possible. Because sometimes it can be pretty overwhelming. There are a lot of moving parts. If you're not familiar with what it takes to create an audiobook, I'll use my book as an example. I have a book called Lights Action You, and I published this in October of 2022 is when it came out. In my book, I have 14 chapters, and then there's opening credits, closing credits, dedication, acknowledgments. There's an introduction. There's all these pieces of the book that are part of the audiobook, of course. Now, when you record your audiobook, each piece, each section is a separate audio file. So you're doing it in pieces and in sections, and that's how you piece it together. The beauty about doing it that way, and which is the way you need to do it, the beauty about doing it that way is that it at least lets you record things a section at a time where you don't feel so overwhelmed, where you think, oh man, I got to sit and record for hours and hours and hours. No, you can do it a section at a time, and it does make it a lot easier. So then you do your recording process. The next phase, and this is so important, the next phase is there is audio post-production work that has to be done to your audiobook. You got to find a great editor who knows what they're doing, not somebody who's going to just say, let me just run it through a restoration program. I'll be done in an hour or two. That's a huge red flag, because what that tells me is that that person or that company or whoever the editor is not listening to your audiobook, because there are other things that need to be addressed on the post-production side. And just running it through some restoration program, we'll clean up all the mouth noise, no problem. But you're going to miss other things like slurred words or a mispronunciation, or maybe the pacing is off a little bit. Maybe something needs to be tightened up, or maybe it's too rushed. It's going to be a lot of other little things that you need to hear. So when I do editing for my clients, I listen to everything in real time, because you have to. And I spend the hours that it takes to do it and to do it right, because you don't want to cut corners on your audiobook. And I've seen it happen where authors, they go in, they record, they even do it in a studio, and then they upload their audio for publication into Audible, Amazon, and Apple, for example, and then it gets rejected because there was an issue. And that's the other important thing that you need to remember about creating an audiobook, is that your audio files need to meet the exact specifications for publication. Because if they don't, Audible will not think twice about rejecting your audio. And I've been hired by a few authors to do file repair, to fix their audio, remaster it, and then make sure that they are meeting the exact specifications for publication, because that really is important. That's the other phase of it, all right? So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, just in case you're not sure about what the audiobook creation process is. But you have to have it done, and you want it done right. And again, don't cut corners, all right? Don't cut corners. So again, as a nonfiction author, if you are a nonfiction author, whether you are writing a memoir or telling a story, or maybe you're a coach or an entrepreneur or an educator and you've written a book, or maybe you're a children's author, or maybe you are a poet, you need to narrate your own audiobook. And even for fiction authors, okay, you can narrate your own audiobook, because it depends on how you wrote your book. So for example, what if you wrote it as a narrative? Yeah, definitely. Narrate your own audiobook. Even if you have a handful of characters in your story, it's the content that's important, and that's what people latch onto. You don't have to have crazy dialects and accents for every single character. You can tell the story yourself, and it'll be fine. If you have some fiction book that has a million different characters, then maybe it would be good to hire a voiceover person to create that. I was talking to an author not too long ago, actually, who wrote a fiction book, and she says, you know what, I'm going to narrate it myself, because there are dialects, and where I come from, where I grew up, obviously I know my dialects, and I can create those dialects for the characters in my story. And that's fine. That's great. If you can do it, definitely do it. But remember, you don't always have to have accents and dialects and things of that nature to bring your story to life as a fiction author. So you still can narrate your own audiobook. But like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I am a firm advocate that all nonfiction authors need to narrate your own audiobook. You just do. Because again, it's your story. There's great narrators out there, of course. There really are. They technically sound fantastic, but you know what's missing? It's their interpretation. It's not yours. That, again, is part of the secret sauce of a great audiobook. When you get to tell your story from the source, right? This is in first person, from the source, telling the story. Even as a coach, you're teaching your coaching program in your voice, as it should be. That's really important. And the other secret sauce of a great audiobook is when you narrate your own audiobook, you are leaving your legacy in your own voice, the way it was meant to be told, the way it was meant to be heard. That is a great thing, because generations from now, somebody 100 years from now is going to find your audiobook and they're going to hear you tell your story, not someone else telling your story for you. It's like a famous person and like an artist or some, maybe a popular person, whatever it is, and someone else, a historian or somebody else, is telling the story. Nah, we have the technology to be able to tell our story in our own voice. And that's what you need to do. All right. So, just to go over again what the secret sauce is that creates a great audiobook are the intangibles. Those things that you don't physically touch, but you emotionally feel. That's what makes a great audiobook. And that's why you need to narrate your own audiobook. Now, I do have an audiobook coaching program. Again, there's links in the description, both on YouTube and LinkedIn, where we're doing the streaming of the podcast live, and also on whatever podcast platform that you're checking out this podcast on. There is descriptions, links in the descriptions as well. I do have an audiobook coaching program, which is called Your Book, Your Voice, and I have 2 versions of the program. The best version, of course, is the VIP program, where I provide you with the professional equipment, and I mean $500 worth of great equipment that's yours to keep forever. I help you set up your recording space. We go over one-on-one. I coach you one-on-one through the entire process of creating your audiobook. I do all the editing for you. I will upload your audio for publication for you. And then we talk about marketing strategies and things that we can do to help you promote your audiobook. And I'll even bring you on the podcast as well to help promote your audiobook when it's published. So the VIP program is really, I do it with you and I do all the heavy lifting for you. However, if you're maybe more technical, technically savvy, I guess would be the term, and you would like to do it on your own, I have a do-it-yourself program as well. There is the Your Book, Your Voice do-it-yourself program, where you do have all the video lessons and reference materials and everything to set up your own recording space, do a great narration, getting into the details of what it takes to do a great narration, and teaching you how to do editing, even with a consumer product like Audacity or some other consumer product, and help you be able to do it and to get your audiobook published. You can do it yourself. So just go to robertlanecoaching.com for more information. You can always book a call with me. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend that you do. Book a call with me and let's talk about your audiobook. Let's talk about your book and what you want to do with it. And I can give you all the details about the program. For those of you who are hearing the audio only version, again, those links are in the description, but you can go to bit.ly. I always use bit.ly links, bit.ly/audiobook onboarding. That's how to book a call. And by the way, if you do work with me, you work with me. I don't send you to some other person. When you book your call, you will talk with me directly because I want to work with you and you will work with me. All right. I don't farm it out to some other person to handle it. I'm your coach and I want to be your coach and help you out. All right, my friends. If there is a topic that you would like me to discuss regarding the audiobook world, I would be happy to do so. Just let me know. You can always shoot me an email at robert@robertlanecoaching.com, or if you go to my website at robertlanecoaching.com, there is that contact page that you can shoot me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I do another live, which I do every Thursday, and that is the Coffee Chat. And this is a very informal live broadcast that I do on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So join me because tomorrow's Coffee Chat, which is at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. in the UK. You don't like your voice? Oh, I got to fix that graphic. I said, you don't like your voice? That's what it's supposed to say. Now, for those of you listening to the audio version, you're not seeing the misspelling on the graphic, and that's good. You don't like your voice? We're going to fix that. That's what we're going to talk about on Coffee Chat. All right. So join me every Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And of course, that is 4:30 p.m. in the UK. And it is on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Go to Robert Lane Coaching, my YouTube page. Subscribe. All right. We don't want you to miss any of that. All right. Now, last thing that I want to share with you is I always give a little assignment. After every podcast, after every live, everything that I do, because I feel it's really important. And you can do this. It's simple. When you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger, say hello to them, give them a compliment, because that small gesture of kindness can make the world of difference in somebody's life. So be a life changer. All right? Be a life changer. And if you want more information and you want to book a call with me, just go to robertlanecoaching.com. I'd love to talk with you about your book and helping you turn it into an audiobook that you, as the author, narrate as it should be. And bring those intangibles, bring that secret sauce. We're going to teach you in the audiobook coaching program how to bring those intangibles to life, because that is the secret sauce in creating an awesome audiobook. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. Again, we're here every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 p.m. on the East Coast. Join me as I have some great guests lined up. So that'll be coming up shortly. And of course, I'll be posting about that as well. But thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. You have a great day. We'll join you for coffee chat tomorrow. And again, follow me on Instagram at Robert Lane Coaching. You're here on LinkedIn, of course, and YouTube is at Robert Lane Coaching. That's the YouTube page as well. Make sure you subscribe. Have a great day, my friends. Take care.
And remember, only you can narrate your story the way it's meant to be heard.